90% concentrated power of will, 5% pleasure, 50% pain, and 100% reason to remember the name.
Welcome to Tell It Like It Is, Friday night, 8 p.m., UPTV Channel 6. I'm sitting here trying to see who's out there. I got my Norbert specs on tonight so I can see what's going on. You know, Rasputin, I don't think you're being very nice to me. You like that, man?
No, you're a poor actor.
Poor actor?
Don't even go to acting school. Don't even waste your money.
I went to Illinois State, so, you know, what do you expect?
They got good performers come out of Illinois State.
Yeah, name one.
Doug Collins.
Yeah, he did a lot of acting.
See?
Yeah, okay, you might be right. You might be right. Well, you know, man, we sitting here all alone. You know, I thought after the election that, you know, we'd have a full house, but Big Wayne looked like he shrunk over here. You know, I'm looking at him, and all I see is his shirt hanging off the back of the chair.
Well, a black Republican caught, you know, he ain't, you know, he's still recuperating.
Yeah, you know, Devon.
Yeah,
Devon wasn't too happy after Tuesday's result, but me and Big Bun, we're going to take you through the show, 60 minutes, ride football, basketball, maybe we throw a little boxing or something in there, but Stat Girl, I don't know if she, black Republican too. She ain't show up here.
No, she's a, what you call them?
Green Party.
The Green Party.
Yeah,
she was a punk rocker. So,
she was voting for Cynthia McKinney.
wasted vote.
Right. Well, we know what happened on Tuesday, and we know what happened last Saturday with the Fighting Illini as they took on Iowa, and we talked about it last week, how important and critical that game was. And sure enough, the Fighting Illini pulled out a 27-24 victory over the Hawkeyes. We talked about it last week, man. Crucial. The offense is still not being what? Well, there it is. The Green Party has arrived. You know, we were sitting here talking about look up there on the monitor, Miss McKinney, Cynthia McKinney. You know, she was running against Barack and McKinnon and Ralph Nader. And we thought that, you know,
Ron Paul, don't forget Ron Paul.
Right, Ron Paul was on the ticket too. Now, you know, the black Republican from last week, Devon, he didn't make it. So we didn't know if you punched wrong, if you did like you had a hand Chad down in Florida or something, and you wasn't going to come because Obama won.
No.
No.
That just means we got to work harder now.
Oh, is that what it is? Well, then your phone call minimum tonight is 20. And she, what?
Thumbs up.
You know what she said?
She gonna text 20 people.
Bring it on.
Yes, we can. Mrs. Obama. Well, thank you, Stat Girl. We love you. We appreciate you being here. But back to the Fighting Illini. We talked last week how crucial this game was.
Real crucial. I mean, they lose that game, the season's down the drain. But, I mean, they right there keeping their head above water. With a, like you said, 27-24 victory. Pretty Eddie came in, caught the crucial third down pass, set him up for the redshirt freshman field goal attempt.
Matt Eller put it through the upright.
He is the king for this week.
Yeah, he was the king on campus last weekend. Matt Eller put the field goal through the uprights and gave Illinois the victory, as Big Bun indicated. However, what did we ask on the defensive side of the ball? I put up the word blitz 3 times.
Yeah.
And they finally did it.
Well, I was pretty much one-dimensional. If they had a true quarterback, they probably would have. He probably saw a whole lot of players wide open, but you know when you just one-dimensional, you hand the ball off to Sean Green.
Who?
Sean Green.
Who?
Sean Green.
Oh,
the guy in Iowa.
I thought you were talking about Sean Green.
So you know they were pretty successful. Some plays hitting the seam routes, but most of all, Illinois stopped their run. I mean, you know, Sean Green got maybe 100 yards rushing. but for the most part, they shut them down. And Iowa shot themselves in the foot a couple times. They went down crucial situations. They missed a field goal. They had a touchdown call back because of a holding penalty.
Right.
And they had to end up selling for 3. So you against a team like Illinois, you can't sit there and go down and only get 6, 9 points and expect to win when your defense not playing it well.
Yeah, Sean Green, like you said, 21 carries, 103 yards. A lot better than the Illinois running game.
Yeah.
Daniel Dufresne did not play. Michaela Shore and Jason Ford were, for the most part, ineffective, and Juice Williams was erratic, I guess.
But Iowa's front four is a beast. You know, that's where they defense come from. Their front 4, and they played good all day. You know, Juice, trying to spread the ball around, and he couldn't spread the ball around. He tried to take off running. He looked up, and there was guys introducing themselves to him.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that you look at Juice, he had 12 carries for 30 yards. The week before, up at Madison and Camp Randall taking on the Badgers, he only had 9 yards rushing. So you got less than 40 yards rushing in 2 games from Juice, who, running that spread offense. You depend on him moving the chains when he's running the football. Now you're dependent on true freshmen, Jason Ford, Michaela Shore. They didn't show up last week.
Well, they showed up. I mean,
I'm kind of at a loss for words. How did they win this game based on that offensive production?
well, if you're a Kool-Aid drinker, you're gonna say defense. Mm-hmm. If you keeping it real, it was luck, because you looked at Illinois was up 16 points, Iowa went down, scored again, boom.
Right.
Next time they had the ball, they got a field goal. Next time they went down, Illinois, they 4 or 5 plays, they passed the ball and scored no problem.
Right.
And then they set up. To me, Iowa scored too quick when they tied the game up.
Yeah.
And they left too much time on the clock, and they went into prevent defense. You know what a prevent defense do?
Prevents you from winning.
Winning. So they figure out they hit the underneath routes.
Right.
Got underneath, pretty Eddie underneath and stuff. And the next thing you know, boom, they're in field goal range.
And you talk about Pretty Eddie. Eddie McGee, backup quarterback, came off the sidelines and was able to give some production at the wide receiver position. He played a lot of slot receiver. And I must say he did an excellent job. I was pretty surprised that he was able to be as effective as he was, considering we haven't seen him play that position all year. The one thing I was surprised you didn't see with him being out there is some sort of option pass, either with him throwing the ball downfield to other receivers or throwing back to Juice Williams. So I wonder if that might be in the playbook this week.
Well, do you think Eddie McGee coming to the game, you think it's like giving a dog a bone because he might be looking at transferring out of here?
That's an excellent point, because you see how elated he was after the game. He just wanted to be on the field. And he, after this year, he still got 2 years of eligibility. Obviously, we're just speaking based on speculation, but an athlete with his type of talent, he's got to be on the field somewhere, and they've got to get him out there in space so he can use the God-given talent that he has. Now, the other thing that I'm looking at, we talked about Illinois' defense. They had 6 sacks, and then DeRay Hicks, we mentioned, had the forced fumble to create the touchdown that really was the difference in the ball game. But even with the 6 sacks, Illinois' defense still gave up 329 yards of total offense for Iowa. That's quite a few yards, considering Ricky Stanzi, not that good of a quarterback.
No, he's not.
And Sean Green, as you mentioned, he rushed for only 103 yards.
Yeah, he's averaging, maybe 200 a game?
So when you look at it from that standpoint, Stanzi produced more than I think anybody even expected him to do.
Yeah.
And now we take that Iowa game, we wrap it up, and toss it aside, because tomorrow Illinois travels to Detroit. They already there. They better be.
But no, man, they're going to leave in the morning.
Man, we're going to leave about 6. Everybody just suit up and meet at Memorial Stadium, and we'll just ride the bus there. We should get there right at game time. But they take on Western Michigan Broncos out of the Mid-American Conference.
MAC.
You all know it's the MAC. Not Big Mac, just the MAC. One of the things that people need to be cognizant of, Western Michigan 7-2. The MAC has won 3 games this year against Big Ten competition. When you looked at this game on the schedule back in July or even early August, you probably penciled it in as a W for Illinois.
Yep.
Not so fast. The Broncos, like I said, one of the top teams in the MAC. They started the season off with a loss at Nebraska. Since then, they've been 7-1 and playing some outstanding football. They average about 31 points a game. They have the 6th leading passing offense in the entire nation. Now, what's our Achilles heel?
Pass defense.
What do you see happening tomorrow morning? And here's the other thing. Another one of these 11 o'clock games. I keep harping on it. 11 o'clock games starting off tomorrow. What do you see happening with the Broncos and the Fighting Illini?
Spread. They gonna run the spread. Illinois gonna get a taste of their own spread. Hey, because the MAC, that's all they do. You look at all the teams. You look at Ball State, which is leading the MAC, and you take the worst team, probably Akron or Toledo, and that's all they do. I mean, they might have a game. You might look at the game like the other night. Ball State played against Northern Illinois.
Right.
With a local prospect, Preston Williams, played for Northern Illinois. And then the halftime score was 21-0. And you look up, they just put up 45 points before you even know it.
Yeah.
And Western Michigan is one of those type teams that they'll play around with you for a while, and the next thing you know, they'll try to put it on you.
Well,
and they trying to get to a good bowl game too, just like Illinois trying to get bowl eligible.
Well, you talk about Western Michigan and you talk about that spread. Well, in that spread, Tim Hiller, who's a quarterback for Western Michigan, has already thrown for almost 3,000 yards already this season and 30 touchdowns. And this is only going into, what, the 10th game?
Yep.
So that tells you he's averaging 300 yards a game. He will be throwing that thing around the field all day tomorrow. Other thing people need to be cognizant of, we talked about Illinois' pass defense. They've been trying to get pressure with the front 4. If they don't get pressure with the front 4, and you're going to be playing in a dome stadium, probably won't be a sellout, early, maybe Illinois' biorhythms aren't there, maybe they don't come out with the enthusiasm that they need to come out with, they could be behind early in this football game. You know? Now, the other thing is, not only can they throw the ball, but Brandon West, the running back for Western Michigan, is one of the top running backs in the MAC. He's rushed for almost 900 yards this year and about 9 touchdowns.
Yep.
So as you said, when they spread them out, you got to pick your poison.
It's true.
How do you see Illinois' defense in the fact that we played teams like Ohio University out of the MAC and didn't have any success against them here? And now you're going on the road into a hostile environment and you're playing up in Detroit in an environment that you haven't played before in terms of a dome stadium other than Minnesota last year. How do you think Illinois is going to handle that?
It could be rough for them. I mean, then you have this is what, is announced as, hey, the sandwich game. I mean, you're coming off a big win against Iowa, Ohio State next week, and you got Western Michigan in the middle. And Western Michigan licking their chops because they figure, okay, Illinois going to come up here, they looking ahead to Ohio State next week, and we're going to put one on them. If Illinois come and play like they played against Iowa for the first half, they'll beat them. But if they come like Illinois played in the second half, Western Michigan walk the dogs on them.
Yeah, they can't come out flat. I mean, I think we asked for the blitz last week, and they provided the blitz. So I want to say to Illinois, please continue to blitz, because the spread offense is predicated on rhythm and timing. And if you do not allow Hiller to get back there and set his feet and his 3-step drops and to read his progression and throw the ball around, you may have some success. But if we stay back in that vanilla defense that we play, look for Jamarco Simmons and Juan Nunez, their 2 top receivers, to catch the ball and run all day. And on the flip side for us, Juice Williams, he's got to get back to the consistency he had earlier this year where he's throwing the football early and completing those passes. We pointed out since that Missouri game, each game he starts off slow.
Yep.
Can't have a slow start tomorrow because the way the team's been playing, I think those slow starts will carry on into the second half this time. And if that slow start happens, we might be behind in the third, fourth quarter.
'Cause, I mean, if you look at it, all reality, if Illinois was to lose tomorrow, and instead of having to lose to Ohio State, you go into Game 12, must win to get bowl, just to get bowl eligible. Because you win 6 games doesn't mean you will go to a bowl game. I try to tell people that, they were like, no, they'll go to a bowl.
No.
Even though you got 50 bowls out there, everybody don't get to go with 6 wins.
Right. All that means is that you said they'll be bowl eligible. And based on the remaining of the season, next week, who comes to town? Ohio State. Last game of the season, Northwestern up in Evanston. So those aren't gimmies. At the beginning of the season, a lot of people thought so, but the way things are going now, they're not gimmies. And speaking of the way things are going, a little bit of fisticuffs on the team right now.
Yeah.
Mikael LaShore and Jeff Cumberland.
Pre-game fight.
Pre-game fight. Had a little altercation earlier this week, and Mikael LaShore is out now. He's not going to play this week, and who knows if he's even going to be able to play any more the rest of the season. The way Illinois has been playing football this year with the up and down, erratic play on the offensive side, and the defense not showing up like we expected them to. What do you think about teammates fighting? You know, it happens all the time. You know, it happens in sports all the time. But do you think it's going to affect Illinois anytime this weekend?
I believe so. I mean, but they run by committee defense. Now you're taking out LaShore. LaShore had, 50 yards receptions last week and, 12, 13 yards rushing. Mm-hmm. He had caught a crucial third down play to keep the drive going. You have stuff like that causes dissension on teams early. And to me, I didn't like the way Illinois handled the situation. It should have been one of those hush-hush things. He had an injury. You know, they could have said anything. Mm-hmm. You know how they sugarcoat anything. But then they take it and blow it up. Right. Now here, Coach Zook got to come out here and explain himself.
Yeah, and I think I agree with you in the way they handle it. If it was in-house, it's in-house.
Yeah.
You don't answer any questions on it.
Leave it alone.
You just leave it alone. Like you said, well, I heard you got a running back injured. Yeah. He could have got injured in practice, slip and fell,
yeah.
Whatever. But leave it in-house. But the way the information was leaked out and saying that he was injured by an unidentified teammate,
yeah, and then
created to me more questions and more controversy.
And then a couple of days later, you find out who it is.
Yeah, I mean,
you might well come out and say, well, Jeff Cumberland hit him in the jaw, broke his jaw.
And left it at that. But no, by letting it linger, I think it exacerbated itself throughout the season or throughout the week. And now going into this game, which is, you mentioned earlier about bowl eligibility. They've got 3 games left. They've got 5 victories. They got to win 2 of the next 3.
I mean, if they win, I see them playing. They might play on the blue turf. Mm-hmm. They might go to San Francisco. They might go to Seattle. They'll be far away from January 1st.
Yeah, it's going to be right after Christmas time.
Or right before.
Right before Christmas time, based on what's happening right now, because you got a lot of other teams that out there are playing some excellent football. Speaking of that, there's a game that's coming on Saturday in the Big 12 Conference. Texas Tech takes on Oklahoma.
He's still hating. He's still hating on the SEC.
I'm not hating on the SEC. I'm telling you right now, the number 2 team in the nation is out of the Big 12.
They'll get beat Saturday. You heard it first.
And so they lose.
Let down.
My question is this year the Big 12's, is it their year?
Nope. Alabama played Penn State for the national championship. So like the 1982 Sugar Bowl.
Okay, so
you remember that, don't you?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was 6.
Okay, 6.
Team, and plus 2 and carry the 1, but whatever. The point is, Alabama is in the SEC, mm-hmm. and the SEC right now, LSU, Georgia, Florida, Auburn.
No.
I'm just naming off teams right
okay.
now and naming off losses. All the teams I've named off have all lost.
Yeah. Alabama ain't lost.
But when Alabama loses this weekend to LSU.
Oh, that's where you're getting around to it.
Right. See, hey.
Okay.
You know me, I never go in a straight line. I come on around the corner. When Alabama loses to LSU, mm-hmm. who's ranked 16 in the nation right now,
yeah.
To me, that theoretically knocks all of the SEC opportunities for a BCS championship game. Agree? Disagree?
I agree. I think it would put USC back in the picture again.
It puts you think Alabama lost to LSU puts USC back in the picture. Mm-hmm. I don't think USC is going to be in the picture for one reason only. The loss to Oregon State earlier this year. Oregon State is not a good football team.
That's true. They
And
caught them slipping.
Caught them slipping early, and I know USC's got all that talent and they're loaded up, but the Pac-10 is weak this year, and they lost a game that they should not have lost. Now, if Oregon State was ranked early this year or something of that nature, maybe the computer would be nice to USC, and USC would still be in the picture. I think right now the Big 12 is the conference, and one of those teams coming out of the Big 12 is going to be playing Penn State for the national championship game.
Which one?
Whoever wins the Big 12 championship. That's the problem. Right now, you've got Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Texas, and Texas Tech. All four of those teams.
And Mizzou.
Well, I can't count Missouri because they got 2 losses. You know, they lost to Texas and they lost to Oklahoma State. So with those 2 losses, that takes them out of the picture. You know, but I think those 4 teams.
So you saying Texas Tech, Oklahoma State is an elimination game?
Definitely, because Oklahoma State already has a loss. They can't lose again. They beat Texas Tech, which I might agree with you. You know, the way Texas Tech looked at the end of their game against Texas, they was holding on. They was like a boxer on the ropes.
Yeah.
And pulled one out with a split decision.
They heard that 12th round bell. They're like, whew.
Man, they put their arms around just like Rocky said.
Come on, doctor.
No more
Come on,
rematch.
doctor. Give me some smelling salt.
Put the inswell on my eye and let me sit down on this stool. You know, and the way Texas Tech ended up, Crabtree with a great catch, Graham Harrell with even a greater throw, throwing it across the field on an out route from he was on the left hash mark and threw that ball all the way across to the right sideline. Okay. So
it was luck.
So am I drinking Big 12 Kool-Aid right now?
I believe you are.
Sipping on
Hey, get you some of that good old water.
Let me rinse my mouth out. 'Cause I had a lot of Big 12. Oh, I'm sorry. Whew. I caught a little bit of the Big 12 papers there for a second.
I hear you, Big 12.
All right, I was, Big 12 had me getting all excited there. But even with that being said, Penn State, easiest road to the BCS championship game. Nobody has an easier road. They go on the road to Iowa this weekend. After that, you know, they end the season with Michigan State. But Michigan State on the road will be at Happy Valley. I can't see Michigan State going into Happy Valley beating Penn State.
So this is Joe Pa's farewell tour?
This is his farewell tour. I think Joe Pa gets the cold bucket shower as he wins the national championship.
I tell you what, they better not throw no cold water on that man.
Because 2 weeks later he'll be put in a box.
He might be put in a box at night and going to cardiac arrest.
Oh, Coach, you done killed Coach. Yeah, so I
have you on Capital One murder charges.
They might want to not pour the bucket, just a cup of water on Joe Pa and mess his hair up, but don't pour the whole thing on him. But that's where I'm looking at how these BCS standards are playing out. The final thing on the BCS, you go back to USC and the Pac-10. How do they even, you really would have to have some major losses for USC to elevate over a Penn State or a Alabama or a Texas Tech or one of those teams out of the Big 12.
Well, you never know. I mean, because you look at Texas Tech won, a couple weeks ago and jumped from number 8 to number 2.
Yeah, but Texas.
No, it was Texas. Excuse me. Texas went to number 1.
Yeah, well, they beat Oklahoma, and that's my point. Is the computer is really giving a lot of credit to the Big 12 strength of schedule.
Yeah, I guess so.
Texas beats
Pete
Oklahoma.
Pete Carroll at the press conference, he's crying.
Yeah, but
he set himself up.
You know what he's doing? He's doing the Urban Meyer.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
When Urban Meyer cried and cried when he was in Florida about Michigan and Ohio State shouldn't play again in the rematch for the championship, and he cried his way all the way to the national championship game.
And he proved his point too.
Well, see, me and you gonna have this debate forever. That is not a true championship game when the two teams don't play for 6 weeks after their last regular season. Well, Speaking of the Big Ten, they don't play 6 weeks until SEC, because the SEC championship game, they get an extra game and they play it in December. So until the schedule makers make it even, where everybody either is done at Thanksgiving, everybody's done a week after Thanksgiving, it's still not a true championship game. And furthermore, 5 to 6 weeks off is too long. That would be like the Super Bowl, where New England finishes the season in December, and then they don't play till the end of January against the Giants. If that happens, do you think the Giants have a chance?
No.
No. And that's my point, is that those aren't the same teams that end the season that are playing in these games. So that's what the BCS has got to change that up too. I want a playoff, bottom line.
Yeah, I would love to see it. I mean, it'll bring top dollars to the college football.
Well, if you got a question, give us a call, 328-8280, 328-8280. Stat Girl has a 20-call limit tonight, a minimum. So, she said, yes, we can, as she was doing her best, Michelle Obama. So give her a call, and let's see what's going on with her. And if you want to jump in on this conversation, just give us a hit, 328-8280. Now, we sat here and talked about Illinois football. We've talked BCS and all of that. Time to move on to the big boys. And there's a big game coming up in Chicago this Sunday. It's the Tennessee Titans, 8-0, led by Kerry Collins and their stingy defense, go up against the Kyle Grossman, Rex Orton, because we have no clue who the quarterback's going to be this Sunday, and the Chicago Bears.
Well, I'll tell you what, right now, I'll drink some of that Kool-Aid. If Orton plays with a bad ankle, Chicago will be embarrassed. If Grossman play, they have a better chance. At least he's a little more mobile. Haynesworth them will kill Orton if he comes out there half gimpy, can't move around. They blitz. Jeff Fisher would put 8-9 in the box. Bears ain't gonna throw downfield anyway.
Right.
They gonna throw them to 5-6 yards out routes. They gonna put 8-9 in the box, and it'd be like Virginia Tech was last night against Maryland.
You say blitz, 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 blitz.
Blitz. Red dog, fire, heat, whatever you want. Kitchen sink, bathroom sink, hot tub.
Well, he's gonna need a hot tub after this ball game, because I agree. It doesn't matter whether it's Grossman or Orton. The way Tennessee's defense has been playing, it's going to be tough for the Bears to win this football game. The one thing that you watch Tennessee these first 8 games, it's like, we used the boxing analogy earlier. They're a body puncher.
Yep.
And they just going to keep banging and banging and banging and banging. They're going to keep their defense up. They're going to keep their hands up in front of their face. Not going to give you any easy shots. Come about third, fourth quarter, and body shots going to start wearing on the Bears, and the hands going to come down, and that's when the knockout punch comes in. Bundy mentioned earlier, Albert Haynesworth, right now arguably the best defensive tackle in all of the NFL. They're running a 3-4 defense down there that you can't run on and you can't pass on.
No.
So they weigh you down.
They went ugly. Like they beat the Packers.
Right.
Was it overtime?
Yeah, 19-16.
Yeah.
Field goals. It's not like, Kerry Collins is going to get out there and throw for 300 yards. Tennessee does have a great 1-2 combination at running back. Chris Johnson, the dynamic rookie out of East Carolina, runs a 4.2 40. So he hits you. And the thing that I like about Chris Johnson, he's not Reggie Bush. He will run between the tackles, and he will deliver a punch.
Yep.
And then just when you think, okay, I've been tired of chasing this little scat back all day, then here comes Fat Man, Lindell White. Lindell White one game had 5 carries for 3 yards.
And
that's it.
4 touchdowns.
And there you go. I'm like, 5 carries for 3 yards? I do not want him on my fantasy. Oh, he scored how many touchdowns? I'll take him.
You're right.
So with that type of combination, and then you mentioned how ugly the Titans play football. I want somebody to call in and name the Titans' starting receivers.
Because Kerry Collins take what you give him.
Right.
He ain't throw outside. He's been around. He's been around plenty since he's been with the Giants. He went with Carolina. He been with the Oakland Raiders.
Right.
This is his last stop, Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
Because he got gray hair and everything.
But you know what he's doing? Everybody used that term, which I really don't like, about managing the game, but that's what he does. He
Yep.
doesn't turn the football over, and he's not going to throw for a lot of yards. But what he will do is make sure he puts the team in optimal scoring position, so either they kick a field goal or if they can, they'll score a touchdown.
There's another quarterback in the league like that, Jason Campbell. Mm-hmm. He's not going to throw. He might throw that field once in a while. In fact, he just now threw his first interception off a tip pass.
And that was after almost 300 attempts.
Yep.
So that was second all time. Back to the final thing on the Bears-Tennessee game. The key for the Bears, I think, is getting pressure early on Collins and creating some turnovers, because they've got to score early and put the pressure back on Tennessee. Like we said, Tennessee's been winning ugly all year, and one of the things that they don't do is turn the ball over. I think what Tennessee needs to do, if they want to beat the Bears, is play the same type of methodical football they've been playing. And the final thing, if Grossman starts,
Methodical.
I've been reading again, man.
It tickles that girl.
Right.
See what
Right. First of all, she laughed because she can't believe I read. That's why she really laughing.
Like, he read a book.
And the fact that two brothers sitting here using the word methodical in a sentence, and we ain't in prison.
You're right.
The judge was very methodical in the way he read my sentence off, my brother.
You're right. And I had bric-a-bracs.
Now there you go.
You know what bric-a-brac says?
She knows what bric-a-brac is.
All women know what bric-a-brac is.
Thank you.
What is it?
The little things you have sitting around.
See? You know what it is? They don't have bric-a-brac down in Kentucky. They have whatnots.
That's right. That's what we called it.
You got the whatnot sitting up there on the mantelpiece. Boy, go out and get me a piece of firewood.
So, what's your score of the Bear game?
Bear game, Tennessee. I'm going Tennessee 21, Bears 13. And the reason why I say that, the point I was going to make before we got talking about bric-a-brac, Rex Grossman will probably start, and he'll probably throw 2 interceptions. Because he does not step up in the pocket.
He's scared.
And with Albert Haynesworth coming up the middle,
He ain't.
he's not going to step up, and that's what's going to happen. Well, Stat Girl got her first phone call of the night, 328-8280. And then her cousin hung up on us as soon as she held up the sign. So you tell your cousin to call back, 328-8280. Stat Girl pushed the right button this time and get you back on the air.
I did push the right button.
Oh, it was not operator malfunction?
It was not.
It was the equipment.
It was the caller.
Oh, it was the caller. Oh. Hear that, caller? She blamed that on you, so give us a call back, 328-8280. But I say, like I said, Tennessee 21, Bears 13.
Wow.
What do you say?
I'm going to say Tennessee 28, Bears 13.
28-13. So you're going to give them a 2-touchdown advantage. Mm-hmm. Well, let's see if the caller worked the phone the proper way. Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
That caller didn't say anything.
Okay.
I think that was my stalker.
Oh, so let's see. First call. Now, see, this should have happened last week on Halloween. I think, you know what it was? Stat Girl remember when she stuck her leg up with the fishnet stockings on?
Yep.
What did we say was going to happen this week on the air?
They won't call.
There you go. 2 phone calls, and it wasn't about sports.
They on her breathe like,
She like, hello? Click. See, so she done started something here on Tell It Like It Is. So we'll see if this phone ring again. And if it does ring again, if they got a question about sports, or if you're just going to breathe heavy and Stat Girl ear. We'll see. Call us back, 328-8280.
going back to the big boys. We got one game Sunday.
One game. Man, it's
I know it's a lot, but this one game will tell the season. We got Green Bay versus Minnesota. If Minnesota loses, you might well cash in the bar.
Yeah, well, before we cash in, 328-8280. Caller, tell us your name, tell us where you're calling from, tell it like it is.
Big Will from Champaign.
What's going on, Will?
What's going on, man? I have a question. What's the story with Dante Culpepper?
The story with Dante Culpepper
He's starting Sunday.
with the Detroit Lions. Dante went up there and stole a few $1 million from the Lions. Because Dante Culpepper is done as an NFL quarterback. When he was with Minnesota, before he was injured, Dante was already showing the signs that he was shot as a quarterback. His hands are too small. That's why he has so many fumbles. He holds the ball too long. That's why he has so many sacks. And now with a bad knee, he showed when he was in Miami and then with Oakland that he couldn't do the things he did because he did not understand how valuable Randy Moss and the rest of those receivers in Minnesota were to his career. He thought he was a true elite NFL quarterback.
I see. Now, what's the story with D'Angelo Hall?
D'Angelo Hall is also a thief. He stole $8 million from the Oakland Raiders by playing 8 NFL football games.
Yep.
Then he cleared waivers.
Yep.
So I tell you what, and will you write this down? Look for D'Angelo Hall to be a Dallas Cowboy in a week.
No, he already signed. He signed today.
Who'd he sign with?
The Washington Redskins for $404. Big Will, he signed for $469,000 for the rest of the year.
So he went from a $70 million contract to a $500,000.
Well, no, for the remainder of the season.
Right.
This would equal out the rest of the season checks.
Yeah, okay. Once again, he went from a $70 million contract with the Raiders.
For 1 year. He signed for 1 year. So that means this year. Then he's a free agent. But you're right, Joe. Big Will, I did think he would end up in Dallas. Then I thought about it, I said, no, they got too many horses down there.
Yeah, they do.
Well, you know,
Problems.
with Pac-Man being in rehab, they need somebody to come and take his spot. You know, and with T.O. ready to snap, because if Pinky Finger don't play, if Pinky Romo don't play this week, and they got to bye this week, right?
Yeah.
Cowboys got to bye, so Pinky Romo will be able to sit back and chill, get that finger together. But if he don't play the week after, T.O. gonna blow his stack.
Yep.
It'll be done. Well,
It was a good move for AI to go with the Pistons.
I say no.
I say yes.
We'll see how it play out. I just don't think AI fits that mentality
You really don't.
of tough defense and grinded out basketball. And at 33, you can't tell no 33-year-old man who's been in the league for 13, 14 years, how to change his game. You ain't gonna get a leopard to change his spot. You ain't gonna get AI to change his style of basketball.
I think the BCS, man, they own something, man. They're not getting the Big Ten, no credit. Cause I'm getting sick of Penn State being ranked number 3. This should be ranked number 1, in my opinion.
Well, you know what? They will be once the SEC, when LSU beats Alabama this weekend, and then Texas Tech loses to Oklahoma State, Penn State will be number 1 Sunday. Mark it down on your calendar.
I hope so. That's my team, so I hope so.
Well, you ain't even got to hope. Just be sitting there watching the standings Sunday night, and then the Alabama boy sitting over here whistling. He'll be angry at you.
All right, thanks, man. Thanks for the conversation. Y'all have a good night.
All right, Will, take care, man.
All right.
We have another caller.
Do we got another call? Are they breathing heavy? Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you call from. Tell it like it is.
Hey, this is OC calling from Champaign.
What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Doing all right, man.
So I have a question. What do you guys think about Eddie McGee playing wide receiver this past week? Do you think we'll see more of that?
Oh, definitely. An athlete like that, think about what he did. First of all, he gave Juice the confidence to throw the ball to the slot receiver across the middle. Juice has been having a lot of interceptions based on tip passes where guys are running those slant routes and those hitches and they're not holding on to the football. The second thing is he's a tremendous athlete. When he gets the ball in his hands, he's one of the fastest players on the field. And finally, we talked about this earlier in the evening, look for him to run some option passes from that slot position where he'll roll back into the backfield, either get a handoff and throw it to another receiver or throw it to Juice.
Hey, do you think he's going to be playing after
We can't hear you, man. Your cousin yelling a little too loud.
Sorry, that's because of my team. I think most of you is involved in some altercation with the police. Does anyone know anything about that?
The situation with Michaela Shore?
Yeah.
Now, repeat that one more time.
Supposedly he was involved in some altercation with the police. He got in trouble. There's something you guys know anything about that? Looks like choking some girl.
Don't know anything about that. Only thing we've talked about this evening is the situation with him and Jeff Cumberland. But we haven't heard anything about altercation with the police.
Okay, I don't know.
All right, man. Take care. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you have family while you're on the phone. Family in the kitchen yelling, you know. You trying to have a sports conversation. Family yelling about is the pizza here and
The pizza here.
he's like, man, I'm trying to talk to tell it like it is. So, but we appreciate you calling. Hit us anytime, 328-8280. Now back to the big boys.
Big boys.
Now,
Your boys.
you said the only game.
The purple people eaters.
We're gonna break that game. I'm glad you brought that up. Week 10.
Cause I'm telling you, Joe, if they lose, you might well take the bar lights and take them down.
Say just
Take them horns and turn them down right there.
And just
No, in
pack-
fact, take them horns off and put them in the closet.
and pack up all my purple and gold stuff, huh?
Back it up.
Well, I might have to do that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think that's gonna happen. 2 reasons.
Stat. You got a good stat.
You know I always gonna have a good stat for you.
They playing at home for one.
They're playing at home. Aaron Rodgers started the season off what?
Hot.
Hot, 2-0. Then he hurt his shoulder. Mm-hmm. Been 2-4 since then. Mm-hmm. The other thing is Aaron Rodgers has been making some very poor decisions late in football games where he's trying to be Brett Favre. He's trying to throw the ball downfield situations where he's not supposed to do it. He's supposed to check down to his receiver and he's not checking down. And the other thing, Ryan Grant, the running game that Brett Favre had last year,
Ching ching. He got his paycheck though.
got his money, and what happens to NFL players after they get paid?
They go home.
Man, they done. They are done. And that's
Because
what
I mean, you look at the first time y'all played opening week. To me, the Packers got lucky.
yes.
You know, special teams helped bail them out. You take away them special teams, they lose.
Special teams. and-
Tavares Jackson still have his job.
Special teams but who's quarterbacking? Tavares Jackson. Minnesota's 4-2 since he was benched. If Tavares Jackson didn't even start the season, if Gus Frerotte would start the season, Vikings might be 6-2 right now.
Yeah,
You
could
know,
be.
So, they gave away those first 2 games at the beginning of the season against Indianapolis and against Green Bay. I think Sunday's game will be a lot different. The concern I have for Minnesota is that the situation with the Williams boys with the diuretic,
Yep.
when is the league going to come out and give them their 4-game suspension? And if they do give it to them, are both of them going to, do the suspension together, or are they going to stagger it out? Maybe one takes 4 weeks and then the other one takes 4 weeks. But before we talk about it anymore, go back to the phone lines. Tell it like it is, 328-8280. Caller, what's your name? Tell us where you called from. Tell it like it is.
This is Bear Down, and I'm drinking a big glass of orange and blue Kool-Aid.
Uh-oh. Are you sipping it out of curly straw?
No,
Oh, you're drinking it straight to the head?
straight to the head.
Well,
you better slow down then.
right,
All
because
right, hey, I'm telling y'all first, the Bears will beat Tennessee this weekend.
okay.
Of course, the Kool-Aid effect. All right, we knew that. We knew that off the bat.
I was drinking Kool-Aid last week.
Now tell us how they're gonna beat the undefeated Titans.
They're gonna stack the box and make Kerry Collins beat them.
So they're gonna put 8 and 9.
Collins is the one tight end that they got.
So Bo Scaife and the rest of the receivers, you think the Bears are gonna just load up the box on Chris Johnson and Lindell White?
Why not? Everybody knows Tennessee got the top running game in the league.
Right.
Load up the box, and you make Kerry Collins beat you with his arm.
Okay, now let's reverse the ball, get a Bears of football. Kyle Orton's not gonna quarterback. Let's say it's Rex Grossman. You're confident enough against that defense that Tennessee's been playing that Rex Grossman will be able to lead the Bears offense.
I got more confidence in Rex Grossman than I do in a lot of other these backup quarterbacks, say Brad Johnson.
Right.
So, I mean, the guy has won in the NFL. We all cried about Rex Grossman when he was starting this and that, but we do know he's capable of winning a game.
Okay.
Capable of losing a game, too, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, now my concern about if Grossman's at quarterback, I mentioned it before, even when he was having his troubles last year, he doesn't like to step up in the pocket.
Right.
And with Albert Haynesworth coming up the middle of that offensive line and putting Olin Kreutz back into the backfield, do you see Grossman throwing off that back foot like he was doing last year?
After a year and a half of observations, you would think that Ron Turner would roll the pocket out and let him get outside of the pocket and cut.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's the only way that Grossman will be able to hurt Tennessee.
Well, bear down. We need a bear score. I said 21-13 Titans. Bundog said 28-13. So we're looking for yours.
17-10 Bears.
17-10 Bears.
10 Bears.
I'll tell you what, if the Bears create 3 turnovers,
What?
if they create 3 turnovers, they'll win 17-10.
And one more factor. It's going to be the really first cold weekend of the year, right? Think
Yeah.
Tennessee ready for that?
Ready?
Think they're ready for the cold weather?
It's not going to be that cold. It get cold.
If it's cold like it was today, it's cold enough.
I don't think that the weather will have too much of a factor in the style of play, because Tennessee
Bear down, Chicago.
Hey, while y'all laughing, the Bears pull this one out. I think Minnesota be what, 2-3 games back?
I don't think we'll even have to worry about that. Come next week, they'll be 5-4.
Whatever.
Both teams.
Okay, whatever.
All right, check your IV. Make sure the orange, make sure the orange line is running in with the blue.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, enjoy it. All right, bear down. We'll holler at you. All right, man.
Oh, boy. We got another call.
Yeah, I guess you're trying to get that 20 call limit. Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you're calling from. Tell it like it is.
I'm Ellie from Champaign.
Hey, Ellie.
I wanted to know who would be better bet, Rex Grossman or Kyle Orton?
It's a no-brainer right now. Kyle Orton is putting up Pro Bowl numbers for the Bears, but with his injury he had last week, I don't see. That must have been Staggert. That was your cousin.
It had to be.
Exactly.
Call in.
Call in. And then after you ask a question, then say something real stupid fast and then hang up. We appreciate your phone call, Ellie. I hope you're enjoying your Piccadilly evening. Just make sure you don't fall down when you walk out. And try
It's
to
cold outside, though.
when that short bus pick you up, make sure you got your helmet on. Because if you don't have your helmet on, Ellie, you'll make sure you make more mistakes like that.
Yeah, Lord helmet.
Right. But back to that Viking Green Bay game. Mm-hmm. Now you're telling me that Minnesota season is over if they lose this game.
I believe so.
Wow. Well, they will be 1-3 in the division.
Because you look at it, what, they're a game behind Chicago now? Mm-hmm. And they're a game behind Green Bay? Or tied with
They're tied with Green Bay.
Okay, that'll put them one game behind. Just say Chicago win. That put them 2 ahead. Mm-hmm. And it'd make them, 1-3 in the division?
Uh-huh. Yeah, it would be tough. It'd be a tough hole to climb. I agree with you, but I don't think they're going to lose based on the factors I gave you earlier. I think they're going to pull out. It'll be a close one. But I think the key for Minnesota is Peterson, and more Peterson.
Yeah.
They just got to run the ball, and run the ball. The other thing is, on the defensive side of the ball, we talked about the Williams boys and their situation with the league. Jared Allen, he's questionable as to whether he's going to play. And, coming off that left side, he's been putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback head. I think 5 sacks last week against Houston. Now, the other thing with Jared Allen, he got hit with a $50,000 fine for that hit on Matt Shaw.
That's ridiculous.
All because the fine
My guy,
was based-
my top guy, he got a fine, $7,500 fine. If they don't want you to hit the quarterback, when you get close to him and hit a buzz,
something
play
happened.
stop. Play got to stop.
Right.
I mean, because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the way you can't touch quarterback. Then you take like back in the day, Y.A. Tittle and Fran Tarkenton and all them guys like that. They still be playing football right now.
Oh man, you think about it.
It
Joe-
came across when they play football, when Deacon Jones would smack you across your helmet and come after you.
and make you
the
and make you
fearsome
irate.
foursome.
Right. And I think with the ruling that like you talk about now, the problem I'm having with these fines, there are no flags on the plays. Justin Tuck didn't get flagged. It was a
No.
legal play. Jared Allen, it was a sack. And they're still, the NFL is still levying fines.
The way
on
you
legal
drive
plays.
them in the ground. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You can hurt yourself. You can hurt your back as a defensive player, and I'm sitting there driving you right there, and I get you in the air, and I'm supposed to let you go? Man, come on.
Yeah, they've got to change up on that because, like I said, the NFL. I understand that your precious commodity is your quarterback.
They're
But
going to do that. Change it, flag football, National Flag League.
that's what you're going to have to do. You have to do something like that where you cannot continue to have these type of fines levied on guys for making illegal hits. Now, if it's helmet to helmet,
It's something different.
that's something different. But when a guy, now you're talking about the intent, now you're starting to read the minds of players when they make these plays.
They're taking away from the game. I mean, when they stop you from celebrating. Now, I understand the horse collar,
Right.
which has been around for years. I mean, that's part of it. But until T.O. broke his leg, it wasn't. Now it's an issue.
Right.
Now, that's a fine. Now, there's no more 5-yard penalties, face masks. They're all 15. No illegal. I mean, you take back in the day, my man played for the Raiders.
Oh, Jack Tatum?
No, after him. Lester Hayes.
Lester Hayes with all the stickum?
You think as much as they used to touch you before you got the ball,
Right.
you wouldn't even heard his name.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because one of the things you think about, we were joking about D'Angelo Hall and the fact that he was stealing money from Oakland, $8 million for 8 games and he got cut. There are no more shutdown cornerbacks in the NFL anymore. But you can't be a shutdown cornerback because of the rules.
Yep.
5-yard cushion. After 5 yards, you can't touch the receiver.
And guys so fast, that first 5 yards go so quick, you like, man.
Well, you're out there with a guy who's running a 4.40. When he makes his first move, that separation gives him 5 yards right there.
Yeah. Because, I mean, if anybody watched the game last night, Eddie Royal in the slot. No, he was wide out. Mm-hmm. Old boy took off after him. 5 yards downfield, he was burnt already.
Right.
I mean,
he had no safety help over the top. And like you said, if you can't make that contact, Mel Blount, the Hall of Fame cornerback for the Pittsburgh Steelers, he'd be out the league right now.
Yeah.
If he could
Jack Tatum.
Those guys were able to make contact with receiver. Now, back then, they played bump and run where you could do it all the way down the field. I think as long as the ball is not in the air,
They should let you play.
Should at least make some type of contact. You shouldn't be able to hold or drive a guy off his route, but you still should be able to at least make some type of hand contact.
Me as a defensive person, I would go in there to the league. I was like, okay, let's get the receivers' hands off. Because, you look at receiver, when about ready for the ball game comes, he's sticking his hand out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not enough for, offensive pass interference.
Right.
But let's call it illegal touching on offense.
Well, you know what it is?
5-yard penalty, lost it down.
What sells tickets? The offense. And that's what the league wants. With all these games they market, Thursday night they got it on NFL Network now, and then you got your Sunday night game and your Monday night game along with your other games that they're broadcasting. The league wants to sell more tickets. People want to see more scoring, and because of that, it really puts the defense at a super disadvantage. Now let's go back to the schedule. You talked about the Minnesota game. There's another game that's happening in the AFC East. I didn't even think if you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, it had any value. But Buffalo goes to New England.
Buffalo.
To take on the New England Patriots. Patriots right now.
Circle the wagon.
Nobody circles the wagons better than the Buffalo Bills. But right now, Dick Duran and the Bills better circle them up tight. They're 4-4. They started the season off 3-0, 1-4 in their last 5 games. And they go on the road. And Matt Castle seems like he's getting more comfortable in the Patriots system.
But in that division right there, don't leave out the Dolphins.
No, I'm not going to leave the Dolphins out, but I'm just wondering, what do you think about that Buffalo-New England game?
I think New England. New England defense. New England will play good enough defense to beat them. Because you look at New England, they only gave up. They lost to the Colts, which the Colts ain't nothing, but they only gave up 18 points without Rodney Harrison in the game.
Right.
All right, now they come back home. Big game, big statement. This is a big statement. There's a whole lot of statement games this weekend.
Right.
And they got to make a statement.
Right. Well,
Castle throws enough. He's when a time management person.
Right.
They're not going to score the 30 and 40 points like Tom Brady. They win ugly.
Yeah. Well, I think New England's going to win this game. I think right now Buffalo's starting to have some issues on the offensive side of the ball. Trent Edwards is not performing at the level that he was performing at the beginning of the season. This just goes to show you how tough it is to be a quarterback in the NFL. And because of that, I think Matt Castle and the Patriots, like you said, will win ugly, but they will beat Buffalo. Now, another game that's going to have some interesting matchup in terms of division rivalry, the Atlanta Falcons host the New Orleans Saints. Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints are the top passing team in the NFL, and that got them a 500 record.
Yep.
That means that something else ain't working right. and it's usually on the defensive side of the ball.
They get beat at home.
And-
on the road.
And they're going to Atlanta. You got Matt Ryan, you got Michael Turner, and the running game down there in Atlanta. I'm happy.
And that Jenkins boy.
Yeah, and that Roddy White boy.
And Roddy White boy.
Yeah. So with those two guys mentioned, I'm going with Atlanta in that game. You know, I think Atlanta's going to have enough firepower to pull it out, and I think on the defensive side of the ball, I think they're going to give Drew Brees some trouble. The fact that Reggie Bush is not playing also hinders the options that Drew Brees has, because he's been using Reggie Bush on that swing route a lot, and he's been able to, you know, make some space between him and the linebackers, and then if they have to bring a safety up to try to get on him, that's when Brees goes over the top, but that option won't be there. Another big game, the New York Giants take on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Another game in a row. Another big one in a row.
Yeah, but this game is in Philadelphia, and the place where they booed Santa Claus, they'll be booing Eli Manning and Boss and Jacobs and the rest of the gang. I know the Giants are your team. I need to hear from you how the Giants are going to pull this one out against the Eagles.
The Giants kick a field goal. John Carter kick a field goal to win the game. They'll win 23-20.
Okay. We go to these phone lines, 328-8280. Caller, tell us your name. Tell us where you call from. Tell like it is.
Bear down. Repeat that score again, Bucky.
Giants, 23-20. John Carney kicks a field goal.
Won't happen this weekend, buddy.
Of course. You drink
It won't happen this
you drink that when you drink Kool-Aid.
weekend. Beat them.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, Wayne. Wayne, hold on a second.
Bear down,
I'm
Chicago.
gonna get some of your Kool-Aid.
The Giants.
The Giants won't beat the Eagles this weekend either. I'm going to repeat what Bear Down just said. I think Jimmy Johnson will have that blitz package going on Eli Manning all day long. I think
Jimmy,
the other thing.
You talking about the one in the booth?
Nope, I'm talking about the one that stand on the sideline. I ain't talking about the one with the funny hair where it stand like that.
But see, this is one of those tough games where they're going to need Plaxico Burress now to be ready mentally to go get on the field and get in a hard contest like this Sunday. So with all the turmoil going on the past 2-3 weeks or whatever, is he ready to play? You know, one thing, Philly's going to come again.
Yeah.
Well, and I think what was the other thing that's going to happen, because it's a divisional game, this is similar to the Minnesota Green Bay game. Who needs this game more? Philly needs this game more than the Giants right now.
Yep.
And because of that, I think the emotional of Philadelphia needing this game will take them over the hump.
Philadelphia
I'm looking at
freedom.
One more thing about this game, a Philly win will knock the Cowboys out of the playoffs.
Ooh, bear down.
Think about it.
Well, it's still
Bear down, Chicago.
Knock the Cowboys out of the playoffs.
the Cowboys are 5-4. They still got 7 games left on the schedule. I'm not going to go as far as to say they're out of the playoffs, but I think it'll put a big dent into their playoff hopes, because with 7 games left after the bye, they're going to have an opportunity to come back out.
Bear down. But I'll tell you this, bear down. 3 more losses by the Cowboys, you can eliminate them. And they play Philadelphia twice. They play the Giants, and they got to play Pittsburgh.
They got to play the Redskins.
Right.
Washington.
Well, bear down. We got to let you go because we got to get out of here, man. The hour is already gone on us, and we've done our thing on UPTV Channel 6. Tell it like it is. So,
Hey, guys, I'm sorry I couldn't be here tonight. I was a little under the weather, but, you know.
hey, you know.
I'm supporting Washington, guys.
Well, we truly appreciate that, but we're going to talk to you, might be a little fine or something, because you got to play with an injury. You got to play hurt. If you're a real player, you got to play hurt.
We can't risk me tapping out on TV, can we?
No, we don't want you tapping out. Well, we appreciate you calling in, Bear Down. We'll holler at you. UPTV Channel 6, tell it like it is. Check us out every Friday night at 8 p.m. Jason in the back, Stack Girl 2.0 running the phones. Myself, Big Bun doing our thing. Check us out every Friday. We got to get out of here.
You ready? Let's go.